In the world of trading, you have these economic data releases or economic data calendar. So essentially, every few days, few weeks, few months, numbers come out. Inflation reports, employment reports, so on and so forth. In order to interpret them or understand, okay, is this good or bad, you need to understand one simple concept, which is called expectation theory. What is expected, and then what was the actual outcome? The reason this is important, I'll give you a quick example. If I say Apple sold 1 million iPhones, is that good or bad? You may say it's good, million is a lot, but what if I say, well, they were expected to sell 10 million iPhones? Well, then you'll be like, oh, that's not good at all in that case, right? So, simple concept, but important to understand. If the employment data comes out, so for example, non-farm payrolls, or if the inflation data comes out, so like CPI, if you're not aware of what these are, you need to go look at the economic calendar. This is very, very important in the world of trading. This will set the tone for the market, the direction for the next few days and weeks, even sometimes. So, expectation theory is the first thing you need to learn. The second part of expectation theory is, all right, how far out of line are we? If Apple's expected to sell 1 million iPhones and they sell 1,000,001, well, that's not a significant enough difference for it to have an impact, right? So you need to understand how far out of line are we? Is this way better than what was expected, way worse than what was expected, or is there not a significant enough difference for this to have an impact on markets? And so essentially how this works is sort of like there's a median, so the average, and then there's like a bell-shaped curve. I'll put a quick image up so you guys can see. Obviously, all the different data points have a different uh, amount that they vary by, right? So when it comes to employment, when it comes to inflation, oftentimes, for example, inflation, when you look at the month over month results for CPI, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you really need to pull up the economic calendar, go on like investing.com, take a look at this. You need to understand these things because this will really, really set the tone for your fundamental reasoning. This is what institutions look at. This is what the Federal Reserve looks at. These things are important. So, for example, CPI. CPI month over month usually will be like 0.3 or 0.2 of a percentage. So if it's different by even zero point 0.1, that could be significant enough to throw the markets in one direction or the other, right? Whereas, for example, employment, they look every month at the numbers in the hundreds of thousands. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's in the tens of thousands, sometimes it's in 200,000. But point being, on average at the moment, it's in the hundreds of thousands. So if it's just off by 1,000 jobs that they added or lost, it's not going to have a significant impact. But if you suddenly have 50,000 jobs more or less than what was expected, that is significant. That will move the market in a specific direction. So you need to learn about expectation theory. You need to go look at these data points, the important ones. I'd say that the most important ones are as follows. There's CPI, so these are the inflation numbers. There is PCE, that's also inflation numbers, but these are the ones that the Fed claims to pay more attention to, the Federal Reserve. There is employment. Employment is extremely important. Employment is non-farm payrolls, all right? It's the first Friday of every month. This is extremely important. All of the institutions look at this. It is extremely important for the Federal Reserve, and it is extremely important for the interest rate decisions, so whether they will or won't cut interest rates. Then you have other important data points like ISM manufacturing, ISM non-manufacturing, and there's a bunch of other ones for housing and sentiment. Sentiment, I'd say, is pretty close. They have Michigan sentiment, and there's another one off the top of my head I'm forgetting. But point being, inflation, employment, you need to be following these numbers. If not, there's a huge hole in your game. Lots of people only trade technicals, which is fine, but technicals are lagging. Technicals will only tell you what's already happened. Now, they'll give you a good idea of what may come, but for the most part, technicals show you the past. Fundamentals, this news, yes, it's a glimpse of the past, but it sets the tone for what is to come also. In some, you need both. That's my personal opinion. That's my personal trading style. So if you've never heard of expectation theory, do yourself a favor, go read about it. Very simple. If you don't follow the economic calendar or economic data points, do yourself a favor, go look back, follow them when they come up, look at the numbers, look at the market reaction, and then look at the market trend throughout the day. When the numbers are not as expected, the market will typically choose a direction and go in that direction. If the numbers come out as expected, they typically have less impact. When the numbers come out as a surprise, so the number is way bigger or worse than what was expected, that tends to set the tone for the day and even the upcoming days if it's a really, really important data point. I hope this helps. I hope you guys took something away. I'll be back with more. This is one of my first videos, so yes, it's just me talking, not much stuff here going on. As time goes by, I hope my videos will improve, and the point is just for me to share the knowledge that I've acquired over time, and hopefully I can help some of you guys, make money. All right, have a good day.